And yes, our top story this morning, Indian chess grandmaster D Gukesh has scripted history by winning the FIDE Candidates Chess Tournament. This after securing the lead in the penultimate round after his dramatic win against Alireza Firouzja. The 17-year-old grandmaster drew his game against world number Hikaru Nakamura in the last round, leading the tournament by 0.5. However, he sealed the victory as former world championship Candidates Grandmaster Iron and Grandmaster Caruana drew their game, ceded the decisive lead to the Indian Grandmaster, a decisive victory. Gukesh's win is not just historic for India, but he's also become the first Indian to become a world championship contender after five-time world champion Viswanathan Anand, who I'd like to say a good morning to, as he also joins us on the broadcast with my colleague Rakshita. Mr. Viswanathan Anand, thank you for speaking to Republic. I first up want to know what you were going through and what you were feeling, the adrenaline rush while you were watching this chess tournament.
Literally, I was having my morning coffee when the win had not yet been confirmed. Caruana was winning against Nepomniachtchi, which meant they were going for a tiebreak. And then 5 minutes later, Gukesh was the youngest ever challenger in history. So, I mean, this was a photo finish, drama, whatever you want to call it. And it was a great reward for spectacular play. It's quite interesting that of all the participants, it was the youngest one who showed the nerves of steel necessary to go through this very difficult test. And he's made history. He will play for the world title this year. If he wins that, he's the youngest world champion. He's right now the youngest challenger ever. Just a dramatic day for Indian sports and Indian chess, and yeah, just amazing.
Well, Mr. Anand, of course, Rakshita this side, and first of all, congratulations. He's your mentee, and of course, you have been following his journey. You've always been his biggest cheerleader. We've seen that via social media, and many of your photos are also going viral. He's the second youngest to win the candidates after you yourself achieved that feat long back. And now, what do you feel about Gukesh? Because there were many of his moves that actually even stunned someone like a Magnus Carlsen. And he kept his calm all throughout. He was quite focused. There were a lot of, speculations. Oh, is he going for a draw? Or why he is monitoring the other match? And he was against a very, very strong opponent. But how do you feel that he, what really goes in behind his training that he's been able to hold his nerves so much just at the age of 17?
Look, this is that magic. You can train all you want, but you cannot recreate the tension and the nervous, the pressure on your nerves that you encounter. I will point out that his two main rivals, Caruana and Nepomniachtchi, had one of the most nerve-wracking games on the very next board, and they were unable to cope. Caruana had a win till almost 5 minutes before the end, and he has won many games like this, but today under pressure he couldn't do it, and Gukesh managed. So this is that X factor, that that unknown quantity that Gukesh is showing that he has inside. He was able to grow into his situation, and he has created history. Literally, he's the youngest ever challenger in world history.
You've also spoken about how. Yes, Mr. Viswanathan, of course, you've also spoken about via your tweet that, he should enjoy this moment. You've had such moments so many times, but, what does it really take to actually stay focused? Chess is a game that's mostly about focus, but how do you really keep your grounds, your feet firmly on ground, especially at a very young age when you get so many traction? Because there are so many videos, where that are going viral, where Gukesh just moves out of the hall, and we see people with their, selfie cameras ready, and literally he's being mobbed by it. Entire country was awake, to just track, what Gukesh is doing. Is he going to win or not? People were like, I don't want to see Barcelona winning. We don't care if Barcelona wins or not. Today, what we want is only Gukesh to win. But when you get such kind of media attention at such a young age, how do you handle it? What's your advice for Gukesh?
So when we started working together in the Viswanathan Anand Chess Academy about 4 years back, Gukesh was already a very, very gifted and strong chess player. That's fine. But to be a great, you'll have to learn to perform under all situations and all things. And this will be a huge learning curve for him. He has generally handled the media and all quite well. And of course, we will continue to support him, and I'll try to share my experiences. But he is going to face a level of scrutiny that he is not used to, and he's simply he has not experienced. But he has shown that already here, he dealt with a level of scrutiny that he has not faced before. So already we see that he's a natural. He's somebody who has that ability to grow into his role. But what he will face this year, he has never faced before. I think that's clear enough. And I will try, through Vaka to support him all the way. And whenever he wants any advice, I'm there.
Mr. Anand, I ask you this next question on behalf of the entire country and non-chess players too, to really understand the mind of a chess player in these crucial moments, because you've obviously gone through it so many times, and chess being a mind game, how do you really hold your nerve through those crucial moments, and how does one train for it?
It's a lot about self-awareness. There is nothing telling you what situation you're facing. You have to be able to read the situation on the board and understand, I'm being affected, I'm not being affected. Am I thinking clearly? Am I making the best moves as I would make if there was no pressure? And you have to be able to sense that moment when your thinking gets clouded and you get consumed by emotion. This is slightly intuitive. You have to feel it inside, and you have to learn to cope like this. So it's something you cannot really practice and train for. I think when it happens, it hits you like a train, and you just have to grow into the role. But you can maybe imagine other people, how they face these challenges, and if you can get into their shoes, as it were, then you have some starting point when you have to deal with it yourself.
Absolutely, Mr. Anand. Also, the fact that this is we've seen not just Gukesh, we've seen Pragnanda also just last year scripting history, and we've had this entire wave of some new, young, upcoming chess players who are in fact taking on the world. So, what do you think has been really the biggest driving force with what we are witnessing as far as chess is concerned, Indian chess is concerned?
I think, first of all, it's a golden generation, just very, very talented players. Also, they have been competing so they are rivals for 10 years already. They've been competing from the time they were 8 or 9 years old in all the sub-junior and junior competitions. And because they are such a strong generation, they drive each other and motivate each other a lot. Look, I'm constantly surprised by what they are showing. Every time I have an expectation, they exceed it. Both Pragnananda and Gukesh today. And Gukesh has made history. I mean, there is no other way to describe this. And they genuinely seem to have the talent inside, the ability to do this. So I'm very, very excited about the World Championship that's coming up later this year. And let's see what happens.
How big a challenge do you feel that championship is? Because, of course, it's India versus China. First of all, it's a great, the two Asian giants, of course, locking horns there, Mr. Anand. But it is indeed one of the biggest challenges that he would ever face in his career. How do you see that matchup?
We'll get to it. I mean, we're still dealing with the situation. We'll get to it at some point. He will start thinking about it, and he will start, studying World Chess Championship history. He will study the experiences of people who have faced this. It's a bit of a cauldron, and he'll have to get into the role, as it were. But his chess is already at a phenomenal level, and here I'm very happy, despite the unimaginable tension and his lack of experience. He was, in fact, he had the strongest nerves. Okay, I gotta go. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And Mr. Anand and Rakshita, we all have our fingers crossed. Many thanks, Mr. Anand, for speaking to us this morning. Of course, all of us watching with bated breath to what will happen next. On that note, we move on.